You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby. I made a discovery recently that I was unaware of when I entered this current partnership I have with my girlfriend, Mallory. She is addicted to Hallmark Christmas movies, and that season apparently began last night.
Yo, you could have a full drinking game with those things, man.
Dude, I don't understand. So she's watching some movie yesterday, and it's like a guy and a girl meet at an airport. They get their luggage switched. He has some antique nutcracker worth millions of dollars.
Classic.
It's for his mom, who she is applying for a job for, and then there's a third guy.
Does he happen to also be kind of a dick?
No, he's super nice.
Oh, usually it's like the guy's like a dick. She doesn't like him at first, and then
they
somehow,
fall.
yeah.
I'm just watching, and I'm like, I'm predicting everything that's happening moment by moment, and then I realize I'm like, here's Mallory laying beside me and just enjoying every part of it. And I had to be like, I hope you enjoy the rest of your movie. I'm going to go downstairs and watch cartoons with the kids. I cannot do this.
Sometimes some of those things are like the best things to hate watch, man.
Yeah.
And if you can predict it, like I said, you got to write out like a drinking game.
Make a bingo card of some sort. Yeah. I think that's the only way, because like, it's November 12th. Christmas is over a month away, and apparently we've just started going through the lineup of these.
You got to remember, some people, Christmas is a tough time of the year. They don't maybe have a lot of family. They don't have anything going for them. The real gift that they have is hope that somewhere out there is a Prince Charming waiting for them.
The hope that one day they will meet a tall, somewhat grizzled, bearded man, and he will run a cafe in a small town, and they will fall in love.
I mean, usually if you go to a small town and like there's a guy that's like stalking you, it's usually not good news, but...
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy.
People magazine just released 2024's Sexiest Man Alive.
Oh, I missed that.
You ever heard of Benny Blanco before?
Benny Blanco. It sounds like I should know him as like a Mexican wrestler or something, but...
He's like some music producer.
Oh, okay.
All I know is he's dating my childhood crush, Selena Gomez.
All right.
A lot of people on the internet upset because, here, look at this photo. He's not your typical sexiest man alive.
Oh, I mean, he's not ugly, but he's like... I would expect that guy to be at the grocery store. You know what I mean?
He looks like he works at the gas station, yeah.
He looks like a very average, normal-looking human being.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have a full beard, kind of a crappy beard. Not one shirtless pic in any of these photos either.
Do you think maybe he's got a little paunch on him? Like that's the thing, right?
He's gotten a little bit?
9 times out of 10, someone gets named the sexiest man alive, and then there's a bunch of either like ultra tight shirts or topless photos.
Pretty casual looking guy.
Yeah, this just looks like a normal dude, which I will say, as a very normal dude, I'm on board for this shift.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I feel like usually these sexiest men alive, they make the rest of us look like chumps.
Well, I mean, you look at what was last year was the older dude, Patrick Dempsey.
Mr. McDreamy or Dr. McDreamy or whatever his name is.
I mean, you know, square jaw, handsome looking dude, but nothing too crazy. The year before that was Captain Friggin' America. So, like, I like the direction we're going in where, you know, being normal is sexy.
If you want to see the sexiest man alive for yourself, text sexy to 762-555. And I agree with everything that you're saying right now, because I think the standards on sexy have been set way too high, and it's all in the eye of the beholder, you know. And I think this is the proof in the pudding right there.
Oh, absolutely, because there's definitely going to be people that'll look at... Show me this guy again. There's going to be people that look at this normal dude and go, he's not sexy at all.
He looks like he's stoned too, doesn't he? He looks like he's so bait.
Super high. There's almost certainly people that will look at this and be like, yeah, Benny Blanco?
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
it.
I feel like I don't know. This makes me
It doesn't
feel
feel
old.
like a real dude. It feels like some guy just paid to be on the cover of the magazine. I'm sure he's famous and done great stuff. But
like, you look back at, like, there was a time period, I'm just looking at the list, where it was Channing Tatum, then that Adam Levine dude from Maroon 5, Chris Hemsworth, David Beckham, and then Dwayne Johnson. And it was like, if you didn't have an 8-pack, you couldn't even get a sniff at this.
And that you know what? We've learned over the years that it's like a lot of gals like the dad bod and stuff. And
right.
Like I said, it's all different opinions of what you find sexy. So I like the direction they're going with this.
That's just it. Like, I don't understand it, but I've had people tell me they find me attractive. That means that if we're giving this to Benny Blanco, within the next 5 to 10 years, maybe I get it.
I think People Magazine did guys a favor this year. They're making the ladies appreciate what they got at home.
The average guy is way more likely to be told he kind of looks like Benny Blanco than they are to be told you look like Idris Elba. That's all I'm saying.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Tim texted in and said, if you think that guy makes you feel good, have you heard who the UK's sexiest man alive was? Did you see this?
No, I didn't even know the UK had their separate award.
Apparently, they actually did a voting process for this earlier this year.
Oh, like a fan vote?
And the fans voted Jeremy Clarkson as the UK's sexiest man alive.
The dude from the driving show?
Top Gear?
Top Gear, that's it.
It put you in the Top Gear.
Yeah, rev your engine, that's for sure.
Get your RPMs going.
Isn't that dude in his like late 60s?
Maybe
he won
older?
this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Good for him.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Also, love the idea of voting for like, hey, what's sexier? Someone who spends 12 to 14 hours in a gym eating fish and lifting weights? Or somebody who can take your car apart and put it back together.
There's something sexy about someone who can actually work on a car, you know?
That guy knows every single piece on your car, no matter what the problem is, and if he can't fix it himself, he's never going to get ripped off at a mechanic, and that's worth something.
That guy should have done a whole photo shoot of him doing like an oil change in his gitch or something, you know?
I want to see him in the white button-up shirt on the hood of a car like the White Snake video.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm turned on.
All right, easy.
Now I'm going into top gear.
Gear down, brother, gear down.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Who has the most points out there? I'm talking whether it's PC points, Canadian Tire Triangle rewards points, whatever they are, Petro points.
Air miles.
Whatever it is, 762-555. I'm curious. A dude I know posted on Facebook yesterday that he's officially over 1 million PC points saved up.
That's like $1,000 off groceries.
Yeah, I know. I cannot relate. Like I can never get over the 20,000 mark because when I go to the grocery store and they ask me, hey, do you want to save $20 on groceries?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, take it off. I'm broke as hell.
Really?
So I've never gotten over the 20,000 mark, I feel like, of any of the point systems.
See, PC points is the only one that I really pay any attention to just because grocery shopping, but I want to say it's 250 to 300,000 points.
Damn, really?
And I am the opposite of you. They every time they're like, do you want to use some points, knock the price of this down? And I'm always like, no, I need to save it in case of emergencies. Like if there's ever a time where I don't have my wallet or my debit card's not working or whatever it is, because I have my PC card on my phone, I'm like, I need to save these points for when I have no choice but to spend them.
How do you rack them up? Do you look for the deals? Do you look for the things that have the extra points?
No, this is just years of coincidental spending.
Because I know there's actual like point hunters out there.
Yeah,
that they get the notification on the app and they're buying all the specific stuff just to rack them up.
At most, if I'm like in the snack aisle and I'm looking at a couple different things and one has a points deal, that'll be like the tiebreaker in my decision making. But I'm not organized enough to walk into a store and be like, all right, I need these 15 things like supermarket sweep so that I can maximize my point totals.
It's got to be a pretty big high, though, looking at your PC points and comparing it to your bank account being like, at least one of them's very positive right now, you know?
That's right. Imagine you're like applying for a loan or something and they're like, we need you to list all your assets. And you're like, also, I have 1 million PC
Do you
points.
leave those in the will to someone behind if you pass? Can you transfer your PC points over?
I think there is a system in place for some of these like reward programs where you can deed it to like the next generation coming after you.
Because it is crazy, like you said, like 1 million PC points is $1,000 cash, which is a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, for some families, that's like a month and a half worth of groceries.
Oh, if you're on a tight budget, if you're not going in and spending frivolously, if you're real tight, you can make $1,000 at the grocery store. Yeah, I would say last a month, depending on the size of your family.
I just feel like the point system is kind of ironic where you feel like you're winning after spending all this money on groceries when it's kind of just like when you go to your work Christmas party and they give you 2 free drink tickets. It seems generous, but it's also like, come on.
Based on the work that you put in to get here, it feels like you should probably be a lot farther ahead than you are.
Right?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What's the most points that you've ever saved up?
Most points? Over 3 million, almost 4 million, let's say. $3,800 worth of PC points.
Damn, dude. How long have you been racking that up for?
We've been racking it up since my wife started in 2018. It's mostly her. I do the gas at Esso. She does the groceries at No Frills, Loblaws. Does a lot at the Shoppers Drug Mart.
So I got to ask, nearing 4 million PC points, what's the plan? Is there like an end game, or is this just the thrill of the game?
Oh, no. Like, we don't have them, we keep using them. That's just what we've accumulated since. But, I don't have that total at the moment.
That's crazy. All right, I hear the baby crying. I'll let you go.
Let you guys go.
But, Zeddy Bear just texted in at 762-555. He says, before Zellers went bankrupt, we had over 4 million Club Zed points.
Oh, that's why they went out of business.
Completely lost all of them as soon as they're done. So he said, my advice is for everyone to start spending their points.
I do wonder, at the end of days for Zellers, how many Club Zed points were out in the wind that just vaporized when they were like, all right, guys, we're closing up the stores. Like, what is the total value of Club Zed points that just disappeared?
Yeah.
Would be a crazy stat to find out.
Can you sell off your points? Is that a thing that you could do?
I feel like there are things in place that stop you from transferring points.
Because, they don't check ID when you use your PC points.
No, you know what? I will say that is actually very true. I never signed up for PC points myself. The card that I have is my wife's card from before she passed. And I just kept using it.
Now, speaking of legalities, we do got someone on the phone who we are going to keep anonymous, but you had a great story about PC points, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us here.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was working at a separate gas station, and I had this friend who worked at the one of the Essos in town, and he would, so when customers would come in with cash, he would put his points card on the transaction.
Okay.
And he ended up racking up almost, I think it might have been even 10 million by the time he quit.
Damn, dude.
10 million points?
So basically, if someone didn't have PC points, he'd just be like, all right, I'll take those?
This guy could have lost a lawsuit for the most PC points known to man.
But he could have paid for his lawyer in PC points at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
Galen Weston hates this guy.
He's got a list of the top 10 point people, and he's just got a target on him.
It's actually brilliant.
Honestly, it makes a lot of sense, but with everything so digitized these days, I feel like it's probably harder and harder to get away with.
Yeah.
The real trick is if you work somewhere that does stamps or punch cards, like those coffee stamps at McDonald's. Every time you got to offer the person, hey, do you want, you got a coffee, here's the thing for your card.
Yeah.
They say no. You just slap it on your own sticker. Now you got a stack of coffees.
Oh, it'd be so tough to resist the urge thinking about it. Now it's like the people when they actually had to roll up the rim to win, not rolling up the cups and checking them out.
Oh, if you were someone taking out garbages at Tim Hortons, I'm not saying everyone did, but almost certainly there were people winning prizes who were just like, I'll take that.
I'm just saying, some of you don't get paid enough to work at some of these grocery stores.
Right.
I think you got to start collecting these points.
Help yourself to some PC points on your way out the door.
As a customer, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Honestly.
Oh, no. If I found out you had a card and I didn't have mine, I'd be like, absolutely. On me.
On Galen, more like.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember a few months ago when we heard that rumor that The Rock was just being like an absolute dick on set and he was peeing in bottles and all this stuff?
Yeah, he was like late to filming all the time. He was holding up shoots. He was kind of hard to deal with. And the bottle peeing thing definitely was the standout, I feel like, at the time.
He did admit that he was kind of being a little hard to deal with on set, and did admit that he was peeing in bottles on set as well in a recent interview. And I thought it was crazy because it's like, if the average person just admitted to doing that kind of stuff, instantly fired, right?
Oh, God, if we walked by the office later and Jackie was like, hey, is one of you peeing in a bottle?
Whose piss jug is this?
Right.
Yeah.
And one of us was like, oh, hey, we couldn't get out of the studio. That's mine. 100% it's an HR meeting, and probably a good 80% you don't work here anymore.
The best part of the quote of it is he just goes, yeah, that happens. That was it. That was it.
And I wonder if this is behavior that he's picked up in Hollywood, because, like, you're on the set and you're shooting and all these people are there and waiting for you. Or is this something that he picked up from wrestling, where it's like, oh, man, my match is in 5 minutes. I don't have time to go find a bathroom.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's just kind of rich person behavior where you're like, I know I can get away with it. Nobody's going to tell me no. Right? Right?
He doesn't pee in bottles like us. He's not using a Dasani bottle.
I'm curious what kind of bottles he's actually using, because, I mean, I think we can all agree best bottle to pee in is probably a Gatorade bottle, right?
It does have, it's got, it's a decent size. It's
Wide
got the
mouth.
wider mouth for less worry about spillage and stuff like that.
But then again, he doesn't really strike me as like a Gatorade guy. He's a pretty big health nut.
I bet, you know what? He's one of those guys, those big workout bodybuilder types that's probably always carrying around the 4-liter, the gallon jug of water.
Oh, okay.
It's probably one of those, the big plastic jugs.
Well, that's the thing that I'm wondering is, like, is it one of his own reusable bottles, or is it just a throwaway kind of thing?
I do love the idea that he's got a designated, reusable, washable piss jug. The idea that it would be like he would use it and then later on would dump and rinse so he could use it again is so awful.
He has been known to be very environmentally friendly at times.
Absolutely.
So.
Listen, you don't star in Moana 1 and 2 without caring about our ocean.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
So we have talked to some truckers or people who work on the road on what they use to pee in on the road. And it seems, to be honest, the big ones are V8 bottles.
Yeah.
Tropicana juice bottles.
The big ones.
Yeah, because that can carry a lot of weight to it, actually.
You know what, the thing I've always wondered, and I should have asked this earlier, is can you, if you're using one of those big jugs, do you use it multiple times? Like, do you go and then cap it, keep it around, and then top it off?
Based on what I've seen on the side of the highway, yes. Now, the reason for the Tropicana one is interesting is because it's got the handle.
Oh, that's right. Kind of like those 4-liter jugs that we were talking about as well.
Yeah.
It's just that little extra protection so that your jug doesn't get loose in the cab.
You're keeping it sturdy. The weirdest one is there's 3 different people who texted in about Ziploc bags.
Ziploc bags is a horrific idea.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot even fathom the idea of using the bag, for starters, and then, if you know with Ziploc bags, like, they don't always perfectly reseal.
Yeah.
And now you're just, where are you putting it?
It's just like big water balloons, basically, if you throw it out of the car.
One person texted and said that they got one across the windshield on a 400 highway, and I think that would be the end of my driving career. I think I would probably just get a bus pass and stay home.
The craziest is we did get a story here at 762-555. You were saying the thing about how maybe it's the wrestler in The Rock that does this.
Wrestlers do a lot of driving, a lot of road trips. It would make sense.
Steve said many years ago, my sister worked at a hotel where WWE stars stayed for the night. The poor girl had to clean Yokozuna's room and got a surprise. The room was just filled with takeout cups filled with urine.
Oh, for those that don't watch old wrestling, Yokozuna was a big Samoan dude pretending to be a Japanese sumo grandmaster. So he was 400 pounds legitimately.
That's gross.
I assumed that whereas, like, the concept of a piss jug is more that, like, I'm in the vehicle, I can't do anything other than this. Yokozuna probably just can't find the toilet.
Well, that's the thing I wonder about The Rock, is the real question is, with the whole piss bottles, is does he make some poor schmuck clean them up, or is he tossing them out himself?
Right. Is because you said it's like, this is rich person behavior. I don't think it's rich person behavior, but now he's in a position where he can be an economy unto himself. He can employ someone.
Is there a guy that's like cleaning it up after him? Does he just like leave the bottle and he's like, deal with it?
Right. Is he going into the bottle and then making a handoff for somebody else to do the discarding?
It's taking the meaning of personal assistant to a whole nother level.
I'm going to need you to make The Rock 6 different salmon dishes to munch on throughout the day. I need you to book me an appointment with a masseuse, and I need you to rewash all of my pee jokes.
He's just got a piston.
Persistent.
Yeah.
Put that on your resume.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You should send a text to me, Dalby. 762-555. Send a text. Anything, ask a question, a comment, or your concerns. You just remember we're always here, 762-555. Yeah, you should send a text to me and Dalby.
You sound like you're in the middle of a stroke, my guy.
I thought that was a great Randy Newman.
I'm not saying
That's a great Randy Newman.
It's a good Randy Newman. I just didn't expect it.
What do you guys want for Christmas?
So my partner Mallory has been asking me that for like 2 weeks, and you know me better than almost anybody. My problem is that I'm super impulsive. So if I see a thing I want, I just buy it.
Yeah.
I suck to shop for at Christmas time.
New sweatpants.
New sweatpants?
Okay, we need to get some new ones in the rotation.
What's wrong with these ones?
I see the same 3 every 3 days. I think we need to get 2 more. That way you can have a full rotation of the week.
No, I think what you don't understand is that I own like 12 pairs of these sweatpants. You're not seeing the same ones. These are just...
You're like a cartoon character.
It's a classic ADHD. Same with this shirt. The long sleeve with the button, the pocket. Yeah. I own 12 of these.
You're just Homer Simpson.
I found something that fits and is comfortable, and that's good enough for me. I bought all of them.
This is good awareness, because sometimes I thought you were just wearing the same clothes day in, day out.
So in other words, maybe what I need for Christmas, I don't know, some Vyvanse.
See, I was just going to say I want the interest rate to drop, but now I just want you to get different color clothes.
I'm not ready to mix shades into my wardrobe yet.
Someone said, after hearing about the sexiest man alive, who is the sexiest person at the radio station? It's got to be Riley, right?
I would assume, yeah, he's pretty jacked.
Riley has got the best posture in this city. He works out. I mean, he's the only one that actually legit works out.
You know what, though? I would give an honorary shout out to News Nick. Nick's a pretty handsome fella.
He's a silver fox, too. He's got that gray coming in. He looks pretty good.
All I know, I don't know who it is. Probably, according to HR, we shouldn't even be talking about it.
Greg took his shirt off a few weeks ago, and I didn't realize that guy was packing some abs.
All I know is it's not us.
Yeah, it's most definitely not
At the end of the day, that award does not come in here between 5:30 and 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm a close, 5th place, at least.
I'm back in the line.
Someone said, am I the only one with a deep hatred of glitter? Now, are we talking about the product, or are we talking about the 2001 Mariah Carey movie?
Because either way, I hate it.
I can understand both. The movie, absolute trash. Also, glitter itself, you use it once, you're finding it everywhere for the next year.
That's just it. I have kids, glitter slime, glitter glue, just loose glitter, all of that stuff banned from the house. You can't let it in, otherwise you'll never get rid of it.
Glitter is like going to the beach, and then all of a sudden you look at your backpack, and you're like, the sand's still in here?
How does this happen?
Yeah.
Glitter is just sparkly bed bugs. You get them.
Sparkly bed bugs.
You get them. They're gross. You can never get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Someone said, what do you think Tommy Lee is doing right now? Something with his junk?
It's 8:44 in the morning Eastern time. He's probably asleep.
I don't know, man. That guy, since he's got sober, seems like he's got a lot of energy. But, I mean, I just always assume he's either taking pictures or steering boats with his piece. If he's not playing the drums, I assume he's always got one stick in his hand.
You're right. It is certainly something genital related unless he is unconscious.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one. It says, look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or would you just let it slip?
I think this is a moment where we can all be really honest with ourselves. More of us than the average should probably admit we'd let it slip.
Oh, always.
100%.
Always.
I would try to capture it.
How many times do you go back in your mind and you're like, I wish I had done that one thing. I wish I had talked to that person. I wish I had done this.
Right. Unless you could look me dead in the eye and be like, I have never once stood in the shower with the water running, rethinking my entire life. You let it slip.
I'm more prone to puking up mom's spaghetti than I am capturing it.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember last week when we talked about the 43 monkeys that escaped from that lab in South Carolina?
Oh, yeah. What was the super evil sounding company? Alpha Genesis?
They still haven't found the monkeys.
Let's go, monkeys.
As of yesterday, they've put out a statement once again asking the public to keep their eyes and ears out for them.
Nah, we ain't snitching.
There has not been a trace of any of these monkeys, and the CEO was quoted as saying, I hope they're having an adventure right now.
I bet you hope that. I bet you hope they're having an adventure and not taking their genetically modified mutations you probably gave them and plotting their revenge.
I cannot wait for the Netflix documentary all about this in the next 5 years.
I am 100% cheering for the monkeys on this one.
I just feel like, why aren't we talking about this more? We're the media. We need to be talking about this more.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
See what he's got.
Good morning. Yeah, today's word? Yeah, convivial. Yeah, convivial. 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 And it's related to feasting, drinking, or merry company. So I'm 100% into that. Anyways, that just about does it. Have a great one. Cheers.
Convivial?
Shocking statement from Ed that the word that means having a good time, partying, drinking, and eating. He's like, yeah, that's cool.
It is a great way to say pigging out.
Honestly, yeah. It makes it seem more upscale when really you're just like gorging.
We're going to the Mandarin and we're getting convivial tonight.
I'm going to get so convivial, I'm going to need to undo the belt on my pants.
You get cut off at the Mandarin and they're like, I think you've been a little too convivial tonight.
You were overly convivial and we're going to have to ask you to go home.
Also, just totally stealing this for the drinking aspect, like Ed was saying. I'm getting convivial tonight.
Boys, it's Convivial Fridays.
It sounds way more classy to say it like that.
We're getting blackout this weekend.
Yeah.
We are going to have a convivial time this weekend.
I'm sorry if Daddy said some things last night. He was a bit convivial. He didn't mean it.
You know how your uncle gets when he's convivial.
Convivial. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.